liver failed in 2011. Yes, girl, I've been through it. I'm telling you.
This week on the Trailblazers, we featured Dr. Rachel Brown, a 29-year-old Jamaican living in Barcelona, Spain, making a positive impact as Executive Director of the Mikkle Foundation. She's also part of the global United Diaspora. Tune in to hear her inspiring story, especially after surviving several near-death experiences. Promises to be quite riveting. Hey everyone, I am Tamara McKayle, host of the Trailblazers series. Remember to hit the notification bell right below and subscribe. Dr. Rachel Brown is a 29-year-old Jamaican philanthropist, activist, and communication specialist, currently based in Barcelona, Spain, and recently earned a PhD in media, communication, and culture. She's also a teacher and consultant for multiple companies in Barcelona. Rachel is the co-founder and executive director of the Mikkle Foundation located in Jamaica and Florida, which serves approximately 350 orphans and underprivileged youth annually. Mikkle serves several children's homes with their programs focusing on mentorship, female empowerment, literacy, career development, sports, the performing arts, mental health, physical health and hygiene, academics, agriculture, and environmental sustainability. Rachel is also the Vice President of Global United Diaspora, GOOD, and serves with passion. Her passion for the diaspora, youth, and improving the world has to date taken her to 31 countries around the world. In 2019, she and her team from GOOD were invited to Ghana to host an Afro-philanthropic as part of their year of return. Rachel is also the founder of the Barcelona Black Students and Young Professionals Association, started in 2016, which now consists of 60 young Black people representing 41 countries. She has been named by Digital Jamaica as one of 2020's People to Watch. In 2019, she was named one of the Caribbean's 30 under 30 for her work, service, and contributions to Jamaica. And in 2016, Rachel was appointed as a Global Youth Ambassador for Education by the United Nations and the World at School, and has served in that capacity ever since. She is the first Jamaican to hold this position. Hi Rachel, it is a pleasure to have another young trailblazer on the program.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Tamara.
Thank you. And I mean, coming from all the way in Barcelona, Spain, but the beauty of technology.
Here we are, closer than ever before.
Exactly. So, I mean, congratulations, by the way, on all your accomplishments. I mean, at 29 years old, killing it. I mean, having your PhD and everything, girl.
Yes, trying my best in this world, yes.
All right, so, I mean, you're the executive director for the Mikkle Foundation. So tell us about that. I mean, I understand it's doing amazing things. I'm going to touch on your story, but just tell me a little bit about the foundation and the work that they're doing.
Perfect. So the Mikkle Foundation was started in 2013 by myself and my brethren Ludlow. We were studying in North Carolina at the time, and it was just a very humbling moment when we were looking outside. It was snowing, and we were like, Jano, where I come from far. This is crazy. And so it dawned on us, you know, the whole idea of to whom much is given, much is expected, that we should give back. And so we started looking into ways we could give back. And our first program was a fun day for Christmas, because we realized a lot of children in the children's homes don't get to celebrate Christmas because they don't have those elements, the family, the food, the gifts. And so we decided to bring Christmas to them. Fast forward 7 years later, we're now serving 350 youth every year. We have about 150 volunteers. We work with 6 different children's homes: Dare to Care, St. Anthony's, Martha's House, Mary's Child, St. Anthony's, and the Jamaica National Children's Home, as well as Matthew 2540. Our kids have special needs, most of them. Some of them have HIV and AIDS. We have pregnant teens that we work with, babies, rescued street youth, everyone. And then our programs focus on mental and physical health, women's empowerment, environmental sustainability, cultural awareness, as well as the performing arts and sports. So
And I was about to say, and so much more.
And so much more.
Yes.
Facts.
Definitely. So, Rachel, jumping into your story though, I mean, a Jamaican, you're living in Spain, you have your PhD. So, I'm trying to figure out, okay, where, how did, this girl's journey start? Were you always driven? Did you always know for a fact that you wanted to have your PhD by a certain age? Tell me about your journey.
Yes. So, I've always been very driven and very hard on myself. Something I'm working on. When I was about 8 years old, I was overhearing the adults discussing degrees and somebody having a PhD, and I asked what that was. And they were like, what is the highest degree possible? And I was like, okay, I'm getting that. 8. The goal was to get this PhD by 30. Thank God we made it. I've had a lot of goals in terms of by 30 or by 25. The journey has been a tumultuous one. Lots of obstacles, lots of hurdles, lots of challenges along the way, but I'm grateful that we made it through so far. When I was 16, I received a tennis scholarship to go play tennis at a boarding school in Ohio. That's how I left Jamaica. I was in lower 6 at Andrews at the time, big up Andrews every single time. And I went to Ohio, spent 2 years there. Then I went to the University of Southern California for undergrad, where I majored in communication, pre-law, Spanish minor. I spent 6 months in Argentina during my time at USC, and then 6 months in Bilbao, which was great as well. So you can see the Spanish progression just,
Yes.
And then I went to law school in North Carolina. While I was in law school, I was a teacher at a middle school there for English as a second language students. And I was teaching English and math to them. So Spanish again came up. And then I moved to Atlanta, where I was working, practicing for a bit. Moved to Kenya after that. Worked on a reparations case there, the Mama reparations case. And then after Kenya, moved back to Atlanta, decided it was time for my PhD. I realized Trump was about to be elected, even though nobody believed me at the time. Just want to say I knew. And then I left Barcelona. I've been here for almost 4 years. Just got my PhD a month ago. And that's the journey in a nutshell.
Oh my God, girl, that has been a journey. You've literally been all over the place, all of these different countries. I mean, I was looking at your bio and it was like you've been to 30 different countries.
Yes. It's actually 31 now, which is great. But my goal is to go to as many countries as my age, at least. So I'm on track for the world.
Wow. Yeah. That's really amazing. That's really wonderful, Rachel. I mean, you mentioned though that there were, obstacles and rough times. What would you say so far? Because I mean, sometimes as young people, when we say, we have obstacles, people are like, you don't go through anything in life yet. But I mean, just your experience alone of living in all of these different countries, yes. What for you has been, the most challenging experience to date, and how did you overcome that?
Oh, that's a tough question, because there have been so many that I think are up there. One of them has been health issues. My liver failed in 2011. Yes, girl, I've been through it. I'm telling you, I've really been through it. So my liver failed, and they didn't really understand the reason why. They still don't know why. We couldn't figure out what caused it. And it rejuvenated itself, so I'm better now, I'm fine. But I have flare-ups every once in a while where I'll get sick. Sometimes I have to be hospitalized. And so managing my health. Also, a few years ago, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. So I'm constantly in pain. So that's another one. And then mental health as well. I have depression and anxiety. So I'm managing that as I'm going along. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, I'm very hard on myself. So that can be difficult at times, but I'm managing and I'm putting in the work, which is great. So I think health was definitely one big obstacle. Finances, that's another big obstacle, I think, for many of us as young people. There was a period of time where I had nowhere to go. I was homeless. I was living on my friend's couch, working 4 jobs trying to get to Barcelona, things like that. And then a bunch of other travel related challenges along the way, and traumas, toxic relationships, you name it.
The whole works.
I think God has been there as well, every step of the way. And He, I think, is the reason that I was able to make it.
Wow, and you definitely will continue to make it, and just, continue to be the wonderful trailblazer that you are. But it's very interesting though to hear in terms of even the health aspects, because I'm like, you are such a vibrant personality, so you're a trooper. You would never know that you're going through those situations, and then still have the time to head a foundation that's doing so well.
Thank you.
So continue.
No, I was just saying, as many difficult things have happened to me, I have so much more that's good about my life. And I'm just surrounded by good people, and I've made very intentional decisions about the people that I'm surrounded by, and that's helped significantly.
Yes, I like that word in terms of intentional, because the truth is you have to protect your space and protect your energy
without apology.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So, but for anybody then that's looking on and they too are impacted by health challenges or other issues you mentioned, even depression and, financial challenges, as you mentioned, but at the same time, being able to persevere and to push through, what keeps you going?
As I said, it's one, God. That's the first thing. I have a very strong belief that if you are privileged enough to have life, especially after, almost losing mine many times, if you're privileged enough to have life, you have to ensure that the world is better off for you having been in it. Otherwise, it's a waste. It's a waste of time. And I don't want to waste my time. I don't want to waste anybody else's time. And so it's making it count. Also, I think I've been filled with this sense of purpose since I was younger, where I knew I had to make an impact. I had to make a difference. That's another thing. Another one is the desire to make my family proud. That's important to me as well. And then now these kids who I love, like, they're amazing. Yes, exactly. They're just amazing. They're amazing. And when you think about it, Tom, like, none of us picked the family that we would be born into. You know what I mean? But that makes such a big difference in terms of your life and yourself and your self-esteem and all these things. And so I think there's just a sense of responsibility to kind of bridge that gap, anything that they're missing because of their circumstances, which is not fair. It's nothing that they choose, nothing that they did, just to make their lives better, because they deserve better lives. They're so great. Yeah.
Yes. Wow. You are an inspiration, Rachel. And as you mentioned, in terms of the fact that having your near-death experiences definitely makes you realize the value of life and what you're doing with your life.
Definitely.
So for other young people looking on, and just older persons too, because it really does, it's not even an age factor. How critical is it then to live in purpose and passion?
Extremely critical. It's imperative. It's imperative, because that sense of purpose is what keeps you going. That sense of purpose is what keeps you hungry. That sense of purpose is the difference between laying down and accepting your circumstances, or standing up, trying to stand up if you can't really stand up immediately, and doing something about it. That's the difference. That's the difference. 2 types of people in the world, and each of us have a choice. We can decide who we want to be. Yeah.
And I understand you're also involved, separate from Every Mikkle, you're also involved in the Global United Diaspora. You're the vice president for that?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know how you do it all. Tell us about that.
Okay, so we started GOOD, we call it GOOD, Global United Diaspora, in 2017, I want to say. And I started it with one of my best friends. She's like my sister, Nia Mohammed. I call her Bingi. And it was in an effort to get professional individuals from around the world who are part of the diaspora together, a conglomerate of sorts, in order to pool our resources, our expertise, our education, our backgrounds, because together we're so much stronger, and then make an impact on our respective countries. So since we've started good, we've had projects in Kenya, Dominica, Ghana, the US. We're doing a project in Colombia soon, and it's all to help people of African descent around the world. And it's just been a privilege to be a part of it. Last year, we were invited to host an Afro-philanthropic conference as part of the Year of Return in Ghana. That was wonderful as well. So, yeah, good is doing good work. Yeah.
Wonderful, Rachel. All right. So, I mean, moving forward, where do you see yourself heading? Because did you always have, you said you're a bit hard on yourself.
Yes.
So I'm not sure if you always had the plan of, I know you said you had the plan for the PhD before 30, right, but I'm not sure otherwise if you have a plan okay, for the rest of your life, where do you see yourself heading to next?
This is the funniest part about this journey for me. This is the first time in my entire life where I have no plan and no idea what is next. And normally I would be terrified, but I'm so filled with a sense of peace right now. I can't even explain it. I just know it's going to be great wherever I end up. I don't know where it's going to be. I feel like Africa is calling, so I might end up there. Who knows? I will always go back to Jamaica because that's home and my kids are there. But I have no idea what's next, job-wise, location-wise. I know I want to have a family. I don't have a set timeline. Maybe I should. I don't know. Let me do the vision board tonight. I want to have a family of my own. That's important to me. But yeah.
But yeah, and I think for real, not necessarily always having an idea, but having that faith. Once you have that faith and that it's almost like that inner knowledge that you know what, it's gonna be great.
Right.
It will be amazing, and you are already on a great path. I mean, Digital Jamaica named you as one of the 2020 ones to watch. Yeah, people to watch. So I mean, you're definitely getting that recognition, and I know what you do is way more than just for the accolade. It's something that you love and you're passionate about, and so the reward and the recognition is just part of the process, but it's not what you're doing.
Just for the plus. Gratitude is a must, Yeah.
Definitely, for the love and not the likes.
Exactly.
All right, so zooming in on life in Barcelona, Spain, because I mean, a lot of persons, who are looking on, maybe they want to come and live in Spain and work, what has the experience been like for you as a Jamaican immigrant?
That's such a tricky question because I think the experience here is it varies based on the person. My personal experience, it's been good to start off. I came here because I wanted to do my PhD. I had been to Barcelona before, fell in love with the city, and I was like, all right, cool, I'm good to be there. The education system is pretty different. Not as structured, it's a little bit more flexible. There aren't many Black people here. That's my preference in terms of people I spent time with. So I started this group for young Black students and professionals, and now we have 50 people from 32 different countries, and they're my family in Barcelona, and I love that. And that has definitely shaped my experience. So there's that. As an immigrant, as a Black woman, it's been difficult. People look at me, they don't know I'm Jamaican. Usually when they find out I'm Jamaican, they're a bit warmer because everybody loves us, except you. Some of them like us, I guess. But it's been difficult. Well, there are not a lot of Black women here. There are not a lot of Black women here, but the majority of the Black women here are street workers or sex workers. So people tend to assume that I am one, And that's changing as there are more Black women coming into the city. But people tend to assume that you're a sex worker or, you know, take liberty with your body and with your space, and that can be very threatening and annoying and just disheartening in general. There isn't a lot of equality in terms of Black-white relations here, even though there are a lot of interracial relationships. That's interesting to me. You're not going to see a Black bus driver ever, or a Black doctor, or a Black lawyer, or a Black anything. And so us as people who are getting their education and we're coming in and we're young, we're kind of like the first of everything for our race. So that's been difficult. In terms of people who want to come here, I definitely would say come through. It's a great city to be in. The beach is lovely. I love being by the beach. There's mountains as well. Transportation, it's easy to get around. You don't need a car. Nightlife is great if that's what you're into. If that's not what you're into, everything else is great. If you want to go to a jazz club, food, there's tons of variety. So yeah, I'd recommend it. Unless you really want to be around a lot of Black people, then it's not safe. So.
but I mean, I respect you sharing that. You know, that was very good of you in terms of giving a balance, you know, of the good and the bad and the in between. But as a globetrotter, I know I can call you a globetrotter because you've been to 31 different countries. Why do you think it's important, or your advice to others who, you know, they're interested in traveling and go, well, maybe not now because of COVID, but perhaps when things get back to well, I'm not even going to say it's going to get back normal, but we get a handle on the situation globally. I'm zooming it into the point that how critical is it then to travel to different countries and know and experience different cultures?
Right. So I think that we are all citizens of the world. Some of us realize that, some of us do not. But the fact of the matter is, the more you learn, the more you understand. The more you understand, the better you will be. That's what I think. Just contrary to the whole ignorance is bliss thing. For me, in terms of traveling, it has shaped me so much as an individual, strengthened me mentally, has enabled me to connect with a lot more people. I'm a lot more empathetic now, which is always helpful. Additionally, everything that happens in the world is affecting you. This is where we live. This is our space. It's our space. And so it's important to know your space, know your surroundings, know your neighbors, your brothers and sisters from whatever countries. Like, it's never gonna harm you. Also, it's just wonderful to try the new cultures and the customs, and at least I like that. I'm into that. You know, whether it's riding an elephant in Thailand or trying jollof rice from the different West African countries, you know what I mean? Figure out what you like. And it also keeps us a lot more connected. With globalization, we're a lot more connected than ever before. And I get that there's less of an appeal because you can just look up something on the internet, go on a virtual tour. But it's different to be there and to feel the energy and the vibes and to be around the people. And I think that's important. Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I'm just enjoying hearing your story. My last question for you, Rachel, is just to give some advice to our viewers, you know, whether young, old, or in between, in terms of, you know, in life being a success. What are some critical steps that you think for anybody that wants to be successful in life they need to take?
For me, and I know it's not the same for everybody, but putting God first and making the time not just to speak to Him, but to listen. That's one thing. 2, making sure that you have the right people around you. They say birds of a feather flock together. So look at your flock. Look at your flock and analyze it and see if that's who you want to be, because that's who you are. And if it's not, then change the flock. Simple. Another one is, as cliche as it sounds, don't give up unless it's absolutely necessary or unhealthy. Just keep going. Another thing, if you fail or if you fall down, get back up. That's kind of cliche as well, I suppose. And then keep fighting and understand that you're not just fighting for yourself, you're fighting for your family, for your friends, for the generations after you, for your country, for the world. Every single thing you do makes an impact. So make sure that the impact you're making is the right one, and it's a good one, and it's the great one. Simple as that. Everything matters.
Wow, some wise words, Mikkle. I mean, you know, I love your energy. I love your personality. Continue to be a trailblazer through all the work that you're doing. And please don't be so hard on yourself, girl. You are doing amazing things. So I understand. Trust me, I do understand though, because as overachievers,
right,
sometimes you have these expectations and you feel like, okay, if you're not meeting all of the goals by a particular timeline, then you're like feeling like a failure. But
right,
as an outsider looking in and telling you your story, that you don't need to be so hard on yourself. Just continue to do what you're doing and have faith, and the next chapter will be even greater.
I'm trying my best, girl. Thank you so much for having me. This was great.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this, Rachel.